Hi, everyone. I am Linda Welbrock, the CEO and founder of Leading Women Entrepreneurs and the Force for Change Awards. And we have such an innovative woman with us today that launched her own toy company. I can't wait to share her story with you. Her name is Avani Modi Sarkar, the co-founder of Modi Toys. And welcome, Avni. It's a pleasure to have you here. Congratulations on your success. Your story is incredibly inspirational. So share with us, how did this toy company get born?
Thanks so much for having me on, Linda. It's such a pleasure to be here. So the company was really born when my daughter and my niece were born. My brother and I actually became parents at the same exact time. Our daughters were born a week apart back in 2017. And it's really through their birth that we realized that we were a little clueless about how we were going to raise, first generation Indian American children living in America. My brother and I, we were lucky enough to be fully immersed in our South Asian culture growing up because our parents did such a phenomenal job in ensuring that, we spoke our mother tongue, we ate ethnic food at home. We watched all these Indian shows and movies on TV, went to the temple every week. But, in a single generation, everything has completely changed. And we didn't want to completely lose sight of the fact that, the values that we grew up with were really important to us. So we thought, well, how could we go about trying to preserve some of that? And the answer really came to us when we took a look around our daughter's nurseries, and we saw that they were filled with toys, especially plush toys and children's books. So we thought, well, what if there was a simple way to basically infuse a little bit of our culture, a little bit of our heritage into the things that, kids are already accustomed to, things that we know that kids already love. And so that's how the idea for the first ever mantra singing plush toy, Our Baby Ganesh, was born.
I love it. I think you had one behind you when we started earlier.
We do. Yeah, so we have a baby Krishna. This is our latest one that we launched. And all of the plush toys, they actually come with a corresponding children's illustrated book, and all the books have been written by me as well. So, entrepreneurship forces you to learn a lot of things on the go, and becoming a children's author is another one.
It's just brilliant. I am again so inspired by you, and so grateful that you brought this to market, because it is right. I mean, we lose, all of us, as the generations go on, we start to lose one small tradition at a time. And so thank you for protecting what is so important to all of us as human beings. So I want to ask you, from mother to mother, what do you think is harder, being an entrepreneur or a mom?
Oh, that really depends on the day, I have to say. Considering that I currently am a mom of two and expecting one on the way in August, and in less than 2 months, actually, I would say right now motherhood is just challenging me a little bit more. But, I think something that I realize about motherhood and entrepreneurship is that they are completely on opposite ends of the spectrum. Motherhood really forces you to slow down. Whatever plans you have for the day, they kind of go out the window, depending on how your kids' moods are or what happens in the morning. Like this morning, my daughter had wet her bed, so I everything I had planned for those like 15-20 minutes that kind of went out the window. Whereas entrepreneurship, it's constantly asking you and demanding more and more of you. It forces you to ask yourself, like, are you doing enough? Am I doing enough? Because you see all the progress that perhaps like other small businesses, other entrepreneurs are making in their day-to-day, and it kind of inspires you in a way. It motivates you to also make sure that you're also putting in your 110%. But like I said, motherhood really forces you to slow down, because children are something that you can't really control. Your business is something that you can control, but they're at complete polar ends of the polar opposite ends. So I would say that motherhood is probably a little bit more challenging, because you're not always the boss that you think you're going to be.
I completely agree. I can empathize with all of your points. I don't know if I could answer the question. I don't know which is harder, but I think I'd probably agree that the motherhood part is nobody can really describe it until you're already in the
You're in
shoes
it.
of mom.
Yes.
So, but you're obviously doing a great job. So give me, I want to know, what is one misconception that you would like to change about women entrepreneurs?
I would say that, women, not just entrepreneurs, but I think women in general, always tend to be hard on themselves and think that, they're suffering from an imposter syndrome, that they're always reaching for more than they're capable of, perhaps. But I truly believe that, if more women took the courage to bet on themselves, they would realize how much they truly are capable of winning. I think, I'm a perfect example of that. And I say that mainly because I don't have any toy industry background. I don't have any e-commerce background. I don't have any experience writing children's books. But here I am. Like, I'm barely 3 years into this business, but we have proven year over year with our continued growth, that anyone is capable. It's a matter of having the right idea. I think it's a matter of recognizing that there is a true market gap, and then it's really just a matter of execution. But I think sometimes women tend to get in their own heads thinking that perhaps now it's not the right time, or perhaps I need a little bit more experience, or I need a little bit more mentorship, a little bit more guidance, a little bit more time, funding, whatever it may be. But I think the misconception is that you're always waiting for more when you really have everything that you need right within you.
Oh, it's so well said. I couldn't agree with you more. And mindset is something that, I wish I could, train more women on how to control that. And the way you just described that process, I think almost everyone can relate to. So just when you get the idea and there's a market need out there, jump in and do it. And you could have a huge e-commerce platform like yourself. Um, so last question. Who are some women that you admire?
Well, I don't know if this sounds totally cliche to say, but my mom definitely is one of the women that I admire as an entrepreneur, mainly because, my parents, when they immigrated here from India 30 years ago, they came here with like literally nothing. They left everything that they owned back in India, and they really had to figure out a way to make ends meet here. And one of the ways that they did that is by purchasing their very own bodega. And they have never owned a bodega in their lives before. They have no business, being small business owners, but they knew that they were going to achieve their financial goals much faster than having a 9-to-5 job. So they saved up enough money, and then they bought their first bodega, and they figured things out as they went, like day by day. They made mistakes obviously along the way, but I think the biggest lesson I learned in watching them hustle and run and operate this business is that you don't have to have all the answers. It's okay if you don't really have the playbook. It's okay if you don't have the right mentorship, but you just have to have, again, enough conviction in yourself that you have the will and the grit and enough common sense to figure things out and ask the right questions. And I think those are the principles that my brother and I have really adopted in running and building Modi Toys, that, it doesn't matter that we've never run an e-commerce toy business before. Like, we'll figure things out as we go, because if our parents can do it without even having a resource like Google back in the day, then
Right.
there's absolutely no reason like why we can't succeed. So watching my mom and dad really be entrepreneurs 30 years ago has really inspired us today.
Well, it's inspired me here today as well. I love those stories of people who came to this country with nothing and they made it and had a beautiful family that they inspired to do even greater things. So congratulations on your
Thank you.
success. I hope we get to meet your brother too. And I love the toys. They're super innovative and really it's moving to hear the whole backstory. I just love what you did. So we can't wait to celebrate you on October 28th as a top 25 leading women. And for anybody out there listening who wants to join, you can go to lweworld.com and join us to hear more of Avani's amazing story and meet the other 24 honorees.
I can't wait.
Yes, it's going to be great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.